Mid-South Peace and Justice Center, and we're over here in the Washington Bottoms, right over in the middle of Midtown. The Washington Bottoms is an area that used to be filled with vacants and vacant properties. Was torn down by the city recently for some redevelopment that was supposed to come to this area but never happened. And now, right in the middle of the heart of Midtown, you have endless fields of just nothing. But there's people who live here, human beings. And today, at this encampment here in the Washington Bottoms, members of the Memphis Police Department came by and told these folks who are here in plain sight of no one that they have to go. But where are they supposed to go? This morning, members of the police department came by. People here in the camp report that that their belongings were gone through, that they were harassed. But this is an encampment of about 7 to 10 people on any given day. They take every precaution and they look out for each other out here on the streets where safety is hard to come by. And if you don't have money to get into the shelters, what are you supposed to do? Now we live in a city that spends $0. $0 of the city budget goes to homeless services. Zero. We live in a county where $0 out of our county budget goes to homeless services. And any politician who tells you different is not being honest. Everything in the city of Memphis that has to do with homelessness is funded by the faith community, by foundations, and by federal grants. So we're going to talk to some of the people here at this camp today about their experience and find out where they're going to go. Now here we are at the remains of the tarp they were using for a tent. The cops came through this morning and cut it down, cut inside. This structure was erected so that people could stay out the rain. But at several points, members of the police department, I'm sure under orders from someone, came back here to bother people who weren't bothering anyone at all, blaming them for all the crime that goes on in the area and any problems. Then it's always time to round up and harass the usual suspects. Several people from the camp have already packed up their things and left, but where are they supposed to go? So let's find out. Let's find out. Okay, we're here with Samantha here at the camp. Samantha has formerly experienced homelessness on the streets of Memphis, and she comes back. She's friends with people here in the camp, so she comes by to check up on everybody and see how they are. So I met her here today, and I just wanted to talk to her a little bit. So Samantha, as a woman, what was your experience like being homeless here in the city of Memphis?
My experience was it was a struggle every day, not having a place to go, and Memphis does not have the funding for homeless people or women in general. I was stressed out every day. I got into a very bad depression because I had nowhere to go, and it's not a very good feeling not having anywhere to go and not having anybody you can turn to help you. And the people that are supposed to help you turn their back on you and don't help you, or they tear down the place that you're living, and it's kind of you get disappointed and you just give up.
And so what was it that everybody's got a different story, everybody has a different way that they enter homelessness. What was it that, if you don't mind sharing with us, like what was it that caused you to experience homelessness when you were?
I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. Addicted to drugs and alcohol addiction, and I hit my rock bottom because I didn't have anywhere to go. And they had many programs for women to go to. If you don't have money, you really don't get in anywhere. Addiction.
And what do you think, like, and so now that you're no longer experiencing homelessness, I see you're here, you know, in fellowship with everybody else and helping and working on the issue, and I'm really glad to see that. But what is it that you want people to understand about homelessness that they don't understand?
What I would like for people to understand is we're all human beings, and nobody knows what the next person went through. We all have a story. I don't think anybody chooses to be homeless. I just think circumstances happen to where sometimes you can't help the situation you're put in, and you should not judge somebody. Instead of judging them, you should try to help build them up and help them and support them and just be there for them and don't judge them, because if you judge somebody, they're going to go the other way. But if you're supportive, then it makes them want to do better.
Absolutely. And so what do you think about the cops coming back here? I mean, this place is pretty isolated. I mean, I can't imagine there being complaints from neighbors. There really aren't any neighbors. So
I really just think the cops came back here, and I think that's really, I think that is just not what Memphis is supposed to be about. We're supposed to be a community. We're supposed to come together as one, but then they separate all of us, and I think that they're out there not bothering anybody. I don't see what the problem is. Where else are they supposed to go? It's not like the cops are going to give them a place to live, so they tear down the only thing they have to keep shelter and keep themselves safe, because half of the things in Memphis is so bad that nowhere is safe. So they want to take the only place they had to stay at and destroy it. And what kind of unity does that show for Memphis? None at all.
And what was your experience like at the women's shelters here?
Bad.
Like all around? Were there some places better than others? Is that right?
I mean, at the shelters, you really don't get treated like a human being. You get treated as a case, as a number, as a problem. You don't get any respect, because they look at you and they say, well, why can't you do better? Or why did you let this happen? Really, if they would just sit down and talk to you and figure out why this happened, maybe they wouldn't be so judgmental. It's a lot of people passing judgment instead of trying to help.
Thank you so much. And I hope you're going to be at our meeting this Thursday, and I really hope to see you there.
Okay.
So what is it that you want people to understand who see this, who don't understand homelessness, who've never experienced it? What's the one thing you want them to understand about what's really going on out here?
What's really going on right here in Midtown is we've been under siege. I mean, you can't walk down the street. The police stop you, violate your Fourth Amendment right, start, improper search and seizure. I like them just call their politicians, call whoever's in authority down there and tell them what's going on. We would at least like to get our Fourth Amendment, all the Constitution that we got coming to us, because that do fall under the President of the United States. And we're over here, and so I consider it as a halfway house, just like the Manor House or the radio station. People come over here and eat, they get their clothes, and if they really have to, they can wash up and wash down.
Because because the people who come here, there's like 7 people who normally stay here, but there's folks who, when they don't have anywhere else to go, come here.
They come here.
And so you guys share all your stuff with other folks who come through here.
Yeah, and people bring stuff through too.
Also, some folks bring stuff, and it's kind of a trade.
They bring, yeah.
And so, and so with the level of police harassment, do you feel like this is par for the course? Do you think it's gotten better, or do you think it's gotten worse? What do you think things are right now in Midtown with the situation with the police?
Oh, it's getting worse and worse. People go to jail, they don't know their rights, and they just take them through. Some of them even go to prison, and they constituting the rights have been violated. And the DA, the district attorney, the PD, they selling people up the road. I had one that's worth anything, and I had 2 that weren't worth nothing. Like John Flip, he's pretty good. And the other 2, I don't think I better mention their name.
Well, man, Tony, thank you so much. And one of the things we want to do is with the group, and we're so glad you joined Hope, and we want to let you know we're standing here with you, and we're going to do everything we can to help you and get people out here. But I think it's waste and meanness to take when folks don't have anything at all, and to cut down their tent, the one thing they have to keep them out of the rain, and cut right into it, and then harass them and tell them to go, to tell them to move on. But where do we want them to go?
And also, Brian, we have church over here. I am an ordained minister, and we have church, and we pray for Midtown, all the halfway houses, our children, grandchildren, loved ones, everybody, because God is no respecter of person. And we pray that God will keep us over here till we can launch out and go and get on our feet and do what we need to do.
So now everybody out here has a completely unique situation, and everybody has a unique reason of what caused them to experience homelessness. What led to you experiencing homelessness?
Well, I got so I couldn't work. I'm trying to get disability right now, and it's supposed to be coming through real soon.
And so how long have you been waiting for your disability to come through?
Well, I've been fighting probably about 2 years, but the final thing is it's pending.
So it's pending right now.
Yeah.
And so would you say that's pretty common out here?
Yeah, that's pretty common. A lot of people I talk to, they say the same thing, they're trying to get their disability.
So what do you say when people say, well, folks want to be out here, folks want to be homeless, that they just don't care? Like, what would you say to people who say that?
I would say I don't believe nobody just want to be out here. But you can't stay out there so long and learn all the ropes until it's really not a big thing to you. And the city don't want people like us around because we don't pay taxes, we're not working, we're not adding anything to their society.
And so I just can't get over, like, so has anybody come over here from the city, like, before they came and told y'all had to leave to try to do outreach, to try to get people connected to services, to try to get people connected to programs?
No, nobody has been over here.
So nobody's brought you any kind of information. They just came, cut down your tarp, went through your stuff, harassed everybody, and then told you had to leave.
Yeah, they never come over here, but we do run across them sometime at the Manor House and the radio station.
So what happens when with folks with the police over at the radio station over at Manor House?
Well, the police is not allowed at the Manor House. They can't come inside. They might wait until you come out and harass you, walking down the street, you're not bothering anyone, and take you to jail for any kind of trumped up charge. For me, I think the chicken that came on the roof, they can just like their ancestors, with Jim Crow law. And if you don't know the law, you're going to jail for pushing a basket up the street, walking in the sidewalk in the street, and the sidewalk got grass and glass and everything else in it, and you walk in the street, they give you a ticket. Just whatever they want to do. Like I said, Jim Crow.
So are there any officers in particular? Or maybe we'll talk about that off camera.
Well, we could, but I can't hardly remember their name. And one of them took me to jail for something. I knew that was a lie, but I can't remember the name.
And there's men and women who stay at this camp.
Yeah.
And so with the women, what's their experience like out here that's different from the men?
Well, it's a little bit harder for the woman because we can't bathe the way we want to. Then we go to McDonald's or Burger King, and well, I can understand they run a business, and everybody in town trying to come down there and get out the cold and take a shave, wash up, wash down, something like that. I can understand them, but you got to try and wash up somewhere. Sometimes we wash up over here.
So y'all have so y'all do everything over here. You do showers, you got set up washing area, had an area for cooking, have area for prayer, and sleeping, and then even clothes that get collected.
Yeah, we got all the comforts of home, so to speak.
At least you, and so, man, I want to let you know how much, how sorry I am that this has happened, and that we want to stand with you, and we want to let everybody know about this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because I want people to understand just where we're at. We're not on some intersection or some corner. We are back, way back into the Washington Bottoms. As a matter of fact, you can see right the next street over is Poplar and Cleveland area. But there's no neighbors to complain because there are no neighbors. There's nothing out here but just this camp and people being kicked off the only place they have to stay. So if the city of Memphis and the state of Tennessee has a state religion, then it must be Satanism. Because only Satan could be this heartless. So here we are, here at the camp. They've just put the tent back up, trying to get back to normalcy. But you can see right there, right where they slashed this tent, slashed it open, slashed the tarp open, slashed it good. There was another one that got cut up a lot worse than this. So I don't know what's going to happen the next time it rains. And why do that? Just waste and meanness. Just outright mean-spiritedness and spite to take the little something that somebody has and ruin it for them. And tell people to move on. Well, move on where?
the pole, Brent.
Move on where? Move on where? You can see where they cut it over there. Cut it over on the other side. But right here, to create this big gash right here. Make sure the rain gets in on the only place to stay that people have. So this is your city. This is how the city of Memphis treats people experiencing homelessness. This is what happens out here every day. And today ain't a special day.
I want to shake your hand.
Here we are a day later, here at the camp, or the ex-camp here at the Washington Bottoms. And everything they have is gone. I received a phone call when I got back in the office that the camp was being raided by the cops. I got out here as soon as I can, but as you can see, their furniture, their tarps, everything's gone. Hopefully I can find out what happened to everybody and see if there's something we can do. But I want people to see that this is what happens to people who have nothing in our city. Treated like criminals and forced to be criminals.